A scramble for the skies. Turkey races to modernise its air force as rivals surge ahead. Barred from F-35s, sanctioned under CAATSA, and wary of Israel's air dominance, Erdogan hunts for quick fixes, from Eurofighters and Qatari jets to the homegrown KAAN stealth fighter. ANKARA'S challenge: restore air superiority before time and geopolitics run out. Turkey is pushing to rapidly acquire advanced fighter jets from Europe and the United States, driven by fears it's falling dangerously behind regional rivals. Ankara has proposed multiple pathways to swiftly obtain 40 Eurofighter Typhoons and later American F-35 stealth fighters as recent Israeli strikes across the Middle East exposed critical vulnerabilities in Turkey's aging air force. Israeli F-15s, F-16s and F-35s, hundreds of them supplied by Washington, struck Iran, Syria, Lebanon and Gaza over the past years with devastating effect. For Turkey, which shares borders with some of these targeted nations, the strikes were a wake-up call. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has sharply criticised Israel's attacks on Gaza and elsewhere in the Middle East, and relations between Ankara and Tel Aviv have sunk to new lows. Greece adds to Turkey's concerns. Athens is expected to receive a batch of advanced F-35s in the next 3 years. The two NATO members have engaged in scattered dogfights over the Aegean in years past, and Greece has previously expressed concerns about Turkish military buildup. With both Israel and Greece modernising their air forces, Turkey risks being outmatched in its own neighbourhood. The NATO member with the alliance's second-largest military aims to leverage its best relations with the West in years to add 40 Eurofighter Typhoons to its fleet, following a preliminary agreement signed in July. But the real prize remains the F-35, America's cutting-edge stealth fighter. Here's where Turkey's plans hit turbulence. Since 2020, Washington has barred Ankara from purchasing F-35s, slapping it with the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act, or CAATSA, after Turkey bought Russian S-400 air defense systems. The concern was that possessing both could provide insights into Western fighter capabilities to NATO's primary rival. Erdogan failed to make headway on the issue at a White House meeting with President Donald Trump last month. Still, Turkey is banking on the personal ties between the two leaders and Erdogan's help in convincing Hamas to sign Trump's Gaza ceasefire agreement. Behind closed doors, sources say Ankara has considered proposing a presidential waiver to overcome CAATSA sanctions and pave the way for an eventual F-35 purchase.
Both sides know that resolving CAATSA needs to be done. Whether it is a presidential waiver or a congressional decision, that is up to the United States. It looks awkward with all of the other diplomacy and cooperation happening at the same time.
The State Department said Trump recognizes Turkey's strategic importance and his administration is seeking creative solutions, but didn't elaborate further. Turkey's separate agreement to purchase 40 F-16s has been dogged by concerns about price and Ankara's desire to buy the more advanced F-35s instead. Turkey's possession of the S-400s remains the main obstacle, though both sides have publicly stated a desire to overcome this. Frustrated by hot and cold ties with the West and past arms embargoes, Turkey has developed its own solution, the KAAN stealth fighter. It's Ankara's declaration of independence in defense technology, a hedge against Western unreliability. But even Turkish officials acknowledge it will take years before the KAAN can replace the F-16s that form the backbone of Turkey's air force. Yanki Bahçoğlu, an opposition CHP lawmaker and former Turkish Air Force Brigadier General, didn't mince words.
At present, our air defense system is not at the desired level.
The jet upgrades are part of a broader effort to strengthen layered air defences that also includes Turkey's domestic Steel Dome project and an expansion of long-range missile coverage. But building these capabilities from scratch takes time, and time is precisely what Turkey feels it doesn't have as regional tensions simmer and rivals modernise their arsenals. The KAAN represents both Turkey's ambition and its predicament, a long-term bet that won't pay dividends while immediate threats loom large. President Erdogan arrived in Doha on October 21st with a creative solution in mind. Turkey has been trying to negotiate to acquire some of Qatar's used Eurofighter jets, according to a Turkish security source quoted by the AFP. For Turkey, this could be a deal that could deliver aircraft far more quickly than any other option on the table.
Turkey has been trying to negotiate to acquire some of Qatar's used Eurofighters. No firm advancements had been achieved yet, with discussions still in progress.
Qatar currently operates 24 Eurofighter Typhoon Tranche 3A aircraft and has ordered an additional 12 Tranche 4s. It also operates the F-15QA and the French Rafale. For Turkey, acquiring Qatar's used Typhoons would provide immediate relief while longer-term plans crawl through diplomatic channels. The timing could prove challenging. Qatar has its own defense priorities amid last month's Israeli strikes targeting Hamas officials in the emirate. Some defense analysts view Turkey's interest in the Eurofighters as a calculated tactic to pressure Washington into reinstating Ankara in its stealth fighter initiative. Speculation about the potential purchase was initiated by Turkish Defense Minister Yasar Güler and Air Force Commander General Ziya Cemal Kadıoğlu's visit to Doha in early October. The Turkish source indicated that due to political gridlock in the US Congress, progress on F-35 deals is unlikely before the new year. Germany blocked Turkey's acquisition of new Eurofighters for a long time because it required the approval of all consortium members. After months of lobbying, Germany finally lifted the ban in July. Turkey and the United Kingdom then signed a memorandum of understanding to advance the potential procurement. But the purchase will take considerable time, which may have prompted Ankara to seek this stopgap solution with Qatar. With Greece acquiring Rafale and F-35 fighters, pressure mounts on the Turkish military to upgrade quickly. Whether through American F-35s, European Eurofighters, Qatari hand-me-downs, or its homegrown KAAN, Turkey is racing against time to rebuild its air superiority before the gap becomes impossible to close.